here on Good Morning Football. We're back from Super Bowl 52 in Minneapolis. We're live in New York City. We've got Peter and Kyle and Nate. What's up, guys?
Hey, what's happening, Kay?
How you doing?
Let's rock and roll.
Rock and roll?
Yeah.
Why not? Time for the lead block.
Lead block!
Super Bowl 52 in the books, and now that we're back from Minnesota, it is a little bit of debriefing time, right? So we've come together on this one side of the table to go to J School. Well, I'll ask you guys 5 burning questions from Journalism 101. They always ask the who, the what, the when, the where, and the why. I want to start with the who here today. Let me walk over to my chalkboard right now. Let's take a look. Let's take a look at who Nick Foles, guys, threw for 373 yards and 3 touchdowns. Who was the most valuable player besides him?
Shregs.
I'm going to go first. I'm going to go with the receiver, Alshon Jeffrey. I thought Alshon Jeffrey set the tone early in this game.
I like it.
Made some huge catches. The touchdown pass is going to be one of the greatest plays in Super Bowl history, and especially for Eagles fans, will go down in great lore. But more than anything, during the game, I'm watching this performance by Jeffrey where he finally stepped up into this moment, and I was thinking, we always do the conversation of the big receivers, and it's Julio and Antonio Brown and DeAndre Hopkins and Odell Beckham. I think heading into next season, we need to include Alshon Jeffrey in that. He went from being that next tier to being that top tier. He had his best game of the year, I think, in the biggest of spots. And as we know, some games this year, he wasn't the main focal point. So I'm going Alshon Jeffrey. They couldn't have won this game without him.
It's a great pick. I'm going to pick the guy who called you out, Brandon Graham. Brandon Graham made the biggest play of the Super Bowl. They don't win that game without him. I genuinely think Brady goes down the field. They hadn't stopped him all day. And it's always that moment. You know, in the Patriots Super Bowl, I see Ty Law picking off Kurt Warner. I see Dante Hightower sacking Matt Ryan. It was Brandon Graham making that play. The only major defensive play on either side of the field. Absolutely magic, Kate. We'll be seeing that play for 50 years. Brandon Graham.
I'm going with Corey Clement.
I love it.
The guy that
C-squared.
Yeah, he came up and he showed out in every single opportunity he had. He took advantage of. He had 4 receptions for 100 yards and an amazing TD where they dropped that dime right up the seam route in the end zone. And on top of that, he was part of the trick play as well. So if you really think about it, in this game, every time he touched the ball, it had a significant impact on what happened. So you can only imagine if they gave the ball to him double-digit times, his numbers would have been absolutely amazing. And what's crazy about it is the team sit there and game plan for Ajayi, game plan for Blunt. Blunt did have himself a game. He should be considered too. But I wonder if they didn't respect what Corey Clement brought to the table because it seemed like he just caught everybody off guard. And he was open every time he touched the rock. And if he wasn't open, he made an amazing play.
Patriots should look no further than their own backfield then. And
prime example.
We talked all week about the James Whites and the Deion Lewis's producing those receivers. He had 100 receiving yards in this game. Patriots got.
They did.
Man. All right, next up, what single play will you always remember from Super Bowl 52? Brandon Graham's probably up for grabs here as a huge highlight, in my opinion. What do you guys got?
I'm going with tight end Zach Ertz. You know, being the wide receiver, and I love routes. Just for the simple fact that there's so many elements to that play, and I broke them down in that Burleson's best. Him sitting out there alone on an island, looking at one of the best defensive backs in the league, knowing for sure the ball's coming to me. There's certain plays where you're like, I might be a secondary choice, or he might come to me. This is the one play in the entire game where he knew this is coming my way. What am I going to do? Am I going to let this guy get his hands on me? He ran a great route, put the guy on the ground, and then dove. So that parallel picture where he's sitting there extending, like I know that poster's going to be on his wall. That's like the Jordan wings. Now you got the Zach Ertz come fly with me. It's unbelievable.
And I love, and we talk a lot about movies and how we like things to be cinematic. There's no better and more fitting ending to that game as far as Ertz getting the ball in a big spot. He's the go-to guy. He was at the end of this last season. He sort of started heating up, and he was my underappreciated storyline at some point this season, talking about how he's not the guy. There's not one guy. He's the guy, the go-to one that sort of held everything together.
The play I'll remember, and it's funny because these Super Bowl losses for the Patriots have some iconic moments from the team that wins them, but there's been 3 Super Bowls they've lost in recent memory with this crew. The first one was to the Giants, and I remember Asante Samuel had an interception in his hands late in the 4th quarter, dropped it. The helmet catch comes right after, and the Giants go on to win. Fast forward 4 years, Wes Welker has a pass thrown right out of his grips. Giselle would have her comments. Tom can't catch. The play that I'll remember is Brady dropping that pass. I know it sounds crazy, but when it happened, it felt like, is there a weakness to this team? Because this usually, 99 out of 100 times, probably works in practice. He had the field there. He would have gotten a nice 12, 13 yards. I look back at the Patriots in this one and saying, what if? And that play there symbolizes a lot. The season through Brady's hands like the sands of time. It could have been right there if they catch it. It was really their only miscue, I think, offensively all night. But what could have been if they caught that there? Who knows what the rest of the game goes?
Trakes, you three Musketeers were together on that play. We saw a little bit of that footage. What was the vibe like when that happened?
It's crazy. We all screamed.
We all gasped.
Brady! The whole stadium went, oh, they're throwing to Brady! Oh! And I genuinely felt, even Eagles fans were a tiny bit disappointed that he dropped it, because what a moment. And when you posed the question, Kay, I actually thought of that too. Not the Philadelphia play, the Philly special, which again, a third-string running back pitching to the third-string tight end who throws it to the second-string quarterback. There was something sadly poetic about it. It was like it was going right through his fingers, the game. And I feel like in the future, we're going to talk about that Philly special for years and years and years, and it'll always be like, and you know, Brady dropped one in that game too. That'll always be on that conversation.
What is your face right now?
Because I was thinking about that moment when we were in that suite watching that, and Brady drops that ball, and we're all just like, what was that? That was the trick play. It's crazy. And then Philly follows it up by that play, and we're all sitting there like shocked. Nobody's talking.
Yeah.
It was like a moment like we just saw an alien. We're like,
you know what it was?
Did Philly just run the play that Brady dropped?
It was like they knew and they were trolling him or something. But
It did seem like a troll job.
I feel like there's no other way to say it. That was a very unclutched play by Tom Brady. Like, you got to catch that ball there. And, like, I don't care if he's a quarterback or not. You don't see him make mistakes like that. It was
mind-blowing. You said it after the game, right? It was a nice ball by Danny, and you should have really...
You got to catch it.
Before the game, we talked about it because McDaniel said, you know, we did 3 trick plays in the fourth quarter. We got some other stuff. And we said, how many trick plays are they going to do? Are they going to go over 4? Are they going to do over 2? That was the trick play of all plays, to throw to the greatest quarterback of all time in the flat. Like, this is it. He dropped it.
They'll be partying in Philly for a long time. We know that, guys. I need to know when the partying is going to stop. When will the party actually stop in Philadelphia? I mean, the parade isn't until Thursday.
Right.
Well, usually I feel like they're Tuesday. They're really extending.
A lot of pre-gaming.
It's their first Super Bowl, Kyle.
I'm not going to make any stereotypes on Philly fans. I mean, they're tough and they're rough. I love Philly, and I feel like they're not going to stop. Not even through next season. This is one of those things that they're going to wear like a tattoo on their right shoulder for the rest of their lives, and rightfully so. We were walking through those tunnels, skyways to the hotel, and Schrager, you said it best. We saw everybody from 9-year-olds to 90-year-olds. And, you know, I'm not going to sit here and talk about death and be morbid, but there might be somebody passing away in the next 10 years that will lay down on his deathbed and say, I saw it. Yeah. I saw them bring a championship home to my city. So celebrate until you die, man. Celebrate.
It's true. And it's an amazing party they're going to have, and they're going to ride it out and ride it out. But Peter, how long until pitchers and catchers report for the Phillies? You know what I mean?
A little bit tomorrow.
Yeah, then the Sixers are a 500 team right now. I truly think that the mindset of the Philadelphia fan is this is joyous, and they're going to tell their kids about it. But that next season, they go right back to nobody believes in us, we're not good. If they start, let's say the Eagles jump out 0-2 next season,
true.
you know what I mean? It's going to be morbid again. I hope Nate's right. Party forever. But I know this fan base a little bit. It's kind of a tough luck type thing every once in a while.
There's a guy who's a Giants fan named License Plate Guy. He goes to every game, wears the license plate around his neck. And I did the Eagles-Giants game, and he wore a jersey, and on one side it said Giants on the right side and Eagles on the left, and it said Giants Super Bowl rings. And for the Giants on the back had 3 or 4, you know, and for Eagles it said 0. There's so many things that go into this. They're going to party for the rest of time because they've gotten that burden off their back. They are no longer in the same conversation as the Bengals, the Browns, the Lions, the Jaguars, all these teams that have not won Super Bowls. They are now in the group with the Patriots, the Steelers, and all them. We're good. We checked the box, and I think they're good with that.
Love that. And the parade is on Thursday. We'll have all that coverage right here on NFL Network. All right, next, let's go to the where here. Okay. I know he just won the Super Bowl MVP. He's amazing. He outdueled Tom Brady on the biggest stage ever. Where, though, will Nick Foles be playing next season, guys? 179 days until the Hall of Fame game in Canton. Where will Nick Foles be that start of the
All right, so free agency starts March 14th. The Combine, a lot of trades usually happen in February. So we're going to be talking about this guy, I think, quite a bit. As of now, without any inside information on the Nick Foles thing, I think money-wise, he makes so much sense to just keep him. It's going to be on Foles, and just from how he's spoken, I don't see Foles going nuts saying, you know, get me out of here. I'm out to be a starting quarterback. It just doesn't seem like it's his story. So, to me, I think he's an Eagle.
Okay. We talked about this earlier in the show, and we were talking, all of us said he's going to stay in Philadelphia. And that's great, and we love that, and you want to have a backup, and he's a great story, and I like the way they run that organization. It takes one phone call. They get one phone call with an offer they can't refuse, and he's gone, and I would love it. Let's be honest here. The stock is high. It's never going to be higher. You have an asset that you might not necessarily need next year that you could trade for a more important asset that you will need.
I agree with you.
You know what I'm saying?
Like, so say the Jets call up and say, we've got 8th overall pick. Straight up, we'll give you Nick Foles for 8th overall pick.
It's done. It's done. Absolutely. An 8th overall pick, I think, is easy. The question I think is hard is that we'll give you a 2nd-round pick. I think maybe you do that.
No.
A first round pick, you don't even think about it for a second. 8th
I
overall
think
pick,
you do
yes.
think about
Nick,
it.
it's been great. We'll see you soon.
You know, this is the most uneasy I felt during the whole show because there's a part of me that says I like the fact that he wants to stay there. And they need him. Regardless of what you guys may think, having Carson Wentz coming back from the ACL, they need a backup quarterback that's Super Bowl MVP that is basically a starter in this league. But then there's a part of me that says that'd be selfish on the Eagles' part to keep him because they're basically clipping his wings and saying, no, you're not going to fly the coop. You're not going to go out there and be a superstar that you deserve to be. So I'm caught between a rock and a hard place. I want to see him stay because I feel like he should sit in the city that he just gave something special to, and being that guy, putting on that jersey and that green and walking around, that's something you can't experience. You're shipping him out right away.
You guys are saying winning the Super Bowl and getting a Super Bowl MVP now makes him a starting quarterback.
Yes.
He should be a starting quarterback
for sure.
somewhere.
It's not winning a Super Bowl and being the MVP. It's how you played in the last 2 games.
Yeah,
of
it's
this
the Vikings
season.
game, too. And the fact is,
It's amazing.
Nick Foles most likely will not have any impact on next season for the Philadelphia Eagles. Hoping.
Right.
If you can trade him and you can get a lineman to protect Carson,
That guy might
safety. I think you do that if the offer is good enough. I think you have to do it.
You can even trade him for another superstar.
I love what you said, really all postseason, but even before he took his first snap, that his highs, his ceilings are made better than maybe anybody.
Let me throw a hypothetical out.
Yeah, what do you got?
If you're the Browns and you have the 1st and the 4th pick, okay, would you trade, say, a 2nd-round pick straight up right now for Nick Foles?
Yes.
Second round?
And then not draft a quarterback early? Like,
and not spend
well,
1
you
or
can do whatever you
4.
want.
I wouldn't take the second round if I'm Philly. I'm not taking a second round for Nick Foles. You better give me a first. Come with it. He's that good.
Maybe
Nick
somebody
Foles is
will.
that
All right.
good.
Somebody, I always like a bird in the hand. We know Nick Foles can play. None of these college kids, we don't know. What do you got?
If you're the Browns, if you're a Browns fan,
Yeah.
would you rather have one of these guys, Rosen, Darnold, Allen, or Nick Foles under center next season? And don't just say you can have both.
Nick
Say you
Foles.
can't.
Nick Foles. No question.
Really? That's you're building your franchise around Nick Foles.
You're building a franchise.
All this build up to this draft, they've compiled picks, and it's for
You have some
Nick
young,
Foles?
you have some young running backs. You got Josh Gordon who came on late last year. You got some young
Talk
talent.
about the quarterback, though.
I know. I'm just saying that those are going to be the guys surrounding
I'd
a
take Foles,
Super
too.
Bowl MVP.
You would?
You're getting a young dude.
Why?
Listen,
The college kids, we have no idea. Sam Darnold and Josh Rosen could be massive busts and not be able to
Do
play
we
now.
really have
Nick
an
Foles can
idea?
play.
But we know he can play, but we also know that he can't play sometimes.
That's
It's not
chapter
like
of his life where he couldn't play.
He's not had a consistent career so far in this National Football League.
So it makes it
Golf
And how
and
much of
Wentz.
it is a product of the incredible coaching and the
lot.
adjustments made
Chicken
by
and
that
egg.
Eagles staff?
I would get Foles, and that would
Yes.
try to
You think
embody
he'd
what
be,
the Eagles staff has done.
he'd be successful with the Browns?
I think that they copied their
I don't know.
recipe.
Yeah.
But that's the conversation. We don't know.
Yeah.
Well, that's it for Journalism 101. We will take a short break here. This play right here gave the Eagles their first ever Super Bowl title. They are celebrating on Broad Street day and night. Was it good enough, though, to make Burleson's best today? We'll be back.
So, the General can assure almost